My name is Simon Squibb and I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I'm going to teach you today about social media. Today's focus will be on LinkedIn. Now, for a lot of you guys out there, I'm sure you're already on LinkedIn. I'm going to try and share some tips with you that I think will completely revolutionize the way you operate on LinkedIn. Now, first and foremost, LinkedIn really does like content to be contained within its own ecosystem. So in other words, if you put links on your posts, LinkedIn is not going to like that and the algorithm will share your message less. In addition, you have to think a little bit like lifestyle content is not applicable on LinkedIn. But if you do have lifestyle content that links to your business, then do share it. So for example, I will often post that there's no such thing as work-life balance. And I will post up a picture of me and my son on the podcast show. So it's important to also include your life within your LinkedIn ecosystem, because in theory, everyone that will see your content ultimately should have some sort of connection to you. So there is some emotional link there, despite the LinkedIn police not liking anything too personal. Now, do not underestimate the power of hashtags. I know for a lot of people on LinkedIn, they tend to do 2 or 3 hashtags. I can understand why. Time is one issue, of course. Who's got time to write all these hashtags out? But you really do want to try and take your time to put hashtags in the post, because the system these days, particularly LinkedIn, is really focused on trying to understand what your content is, and it's using hashtags to do it.
Hashtag homemade, hashtag oatmeal raisin, hashtag show me the cookie.
Sweet. Hashtag don't mind if I don't.
Now, I would also add to you, if you want to increase the potency of your LinkedIn, you want to try and create a conversation. Now, sometimes when you post up a post, you might want to go back to that post maybe a day later and tag some people in it if it hasn't already got traction, to get them to also join the conversation with you. Perhaps include in the original post a couple of people at least that maybe can join in and create the algorithm warm up that ultimately leads to your post or your comment or your insight or your story or your point getting out there to the world. Now, there's a couple of new features on LinkedIn recently. In 2021, they launched a whole stories feature. Again, I've noticed not a lot of people are using it for one reason or another. It does have a time restriction on it, but it's absolutely worth tagging and putting content up in there. Any new feature on any social media channel, they're always trying to make it popular, so they give it priority. Just as I'll talk later about how Instagram and Reels is being pushed right now because it's a new feature and they want that new feature to get used. So they open up what they call the hose pipe, which is the ability to get that content out to a lot of people for free, so that you get addicted and used to that system. So you have to use these things, and the earlier that you use them, the more advantage that you can have. Now, on LinkedIn, my other advice is do be selective about who you let on the system. Now, remember how the algorithm works on all these sites, especially LinkedIn. It will initially send your content to 20 people. If those 20 people like it, they'll send it to 100 people. If those 100 people like it, they'll send it to 1,000 people. So if you want to reach your whole network, you've got to make sure the network that you have isn't too random. Now, I have nearly 16,000 contacts on my LinkedIn, and I took a long time to cultivate the people coming on there. I've got about 3,000 people that I can't reject because I feel bad, but I have not accepted into my ecosystem because I don't feel like they might necessarily appreciate my content. Perhaps they're trying to sell me something. They're not necessarily going to engage with my content and affect my algorithm. Finally, I will say a lot of people do 2 things wrong that they need to think about more carefully when working LinkedIn. First is, if you get any comments, you've got to make sure you reply to those people and engage in a meaningful way. Like and reply on comments. There is a little bit of a hack here that I've learned, which is you can reply to someone's comment and then maybe wait a day to reply to someone else's comment, then wait another day to reply to someone else's comment. It just keeps the algorithm realizing that your content is still current. The other thing I see people not doing is not going onto other people's posts and making comments, engaging with the community that might ultimately want to engage with your content. Be a part of that community. Look out for the hashtagging structure at the top of LinkedIn's feed. It will tell you what hashtags are trending and who's trending in that hashtag. If that hashtag matters to you, in my case it's entrepreneurship, go contribute to whatever conversation's going on that trending social media hashtag. The final thing I'll tell you about LinkedIn is do not overlook groups. I am a member of over 100 groups now on LinkedIn, and I regularly contribute to those groups. It's incredibly powerful, totally overlooked, and I can hear you already saying, wow, Simon, there's so much to do. And I agree, and that's why I'm going to go through every single social media channel with you over the next couple of months and give you detailed knowledge about each of these channels, and I strongly recommend that maybe you pick one and conquer it. And if you've already conquered one, do not assume you can take your content from TikTok and just chuck it into LinkedIn and it will work. It won't. You've got to understand the nuances of each channel. And I will spend the next few months sharing with you how I've managed to build multi-million-pound businesses leveraging social media. And I'm going to share it all for free. I'll never sell you anything. So if this content is of interest to you, if you found it useful, do me a favor and hit the like button so that other people like you that might find this useful, the algorithm will know and it will send it to them. In addition, if you have any questions that I haven't covered about LinkedIn in particular today, feel free to comment and let me know if there is any social media channel out there that you'd like me to go more detail on for you. Finally, if you think there's anyone out there that might find this content useful, it would mean the world to me if you hit the share button. We really are the only platform helping entrepreneurs for free in the world. We want nothing in return, and all I ask you, if you found any value in this video, is that you hit that share button and let the world know that this content is there to help people be more successful on the social media channels. That's it, folks, for today. Please check back next week when we'll be downloading how to get popular on Twitter.